What's good, y'all? It's your boy Mikey J, and I'm back again with another video. And today I'll be presenting, will Iggy Azalea's comeback succeed or flop? Yep, I'll be examining this whole video on the rise and fall and rise of Iggy Azalea and her comeback. So without further ado, let's get started.
Pick it up and drop it on for the proper funds. Anything to make the profit come. Get them dollars, huh?
Now, just to let y'all know, I'm not a fan of Iggy Azalea. I think Iggy Azalea is definitely one of the wackest rappers of all time. But the thing is, I actually like her personality. I think she seems like a cool person in real life. But as for her music, like what I said before, it's probably the most god-awful shit I ever heard in my life. Especially when it comes to her ghetto-ass black accent, which is her black accent for short.
You want a bad bitch like this? Huh? Drop it low and pick it up just like this. Yeah. Bounce that ass, yeah, bounce it. Puff the lot or get hot off the contact.
However, I won't be spending my time shitting on her in this video. I'm just making this video to review her rise to fame, what led to her downfall, and how her comeback will do. So without further ado, let's break it down.
Iggy, pussy illy. Wetter than the Amazon, taste this kitty. Silly Billy, poppin' pillies. Smoking like a swisher, lick this feeling.
After releasing her debut mixtape, Ignorant Art, Iggy Azalea would gain a lot of buzz from it. It even caught the attention of legendary trap rapper T.I., who would take her under his wing and signed her to his record label Grand Hustle Records. In 2012, she became the first ever female rapper to be featured on the XXL freshman list, along with other upcoming rappers at the time, French Montana, Kid Ink, Future, MGK, and Hopsin. After that, she started working on her debut album, The New Classic, with T.I. being the executive producer. And on March 17, 2013, the album's lead single, Work, was then released, and this became her first major hit, when it performed commercially well on the Billboard Hot 100, charting at number 54, and also gaining her a lot of mainstream buzz from it.
Up all night, trying to get there rich. I've been working on my shit.
After that, Iggy's buzz would continue to rise, which leads me to the next chapter in this video.
First things first, I'm the realest. Drop this and let the whole world feel it. Let them feel it. And I'm still in the murder business.
By 2014, Iggy Azalea became one of the hottest acts in hip-hop, especially when it came to the release of her debut album, The New Classic, which was finally released on April 21st, 2014. While it did garner mixed reviews, it was a huge commercial success, especially when it came to the release of the fourth single off the album, Fancy, featuring Charlie XCX. And I gotta say, this is definitely her biggest hit song to date. This song was so big, it peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and held that spot for 7 consecutive weeks, and it even went 7 times platinum. 7 times platinum, which is pretty insane and definitely a great look for an upcoming rapper. After that, Iggy was on fire as she continued to dominate the pop charts, from being featured on Ariana Grande's track Problems, which peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, making her the first artist since the Beatles to have a number 1 and a number 2 record simultaneously, to being featured on the remix of Jennifer Lopez's Booty, which peaked at number 18, which gained a lot of video streaming but ultimately fell down the charts, and releasing the 5th single off The New Classic, which was written by Katy Perry, Black Widow, which peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, and this would be her third and her final smash hit of 2014. Later that year, Iggy would go on to win 2 AMA awards, with the first one being for Favorite Rap Artist and the other being for Favorite Rap Album. And at that point, it seemed like nothing could stop Iggy's success, which unfortunately leads me to the next chapter in this video.
Pulled up looking picture perfect, baby. High price, but I'm worth the baby. Can't play with you, I've been busy.
As 2014 seemed to be a very great year for Iggy, 2015 pretty much would be the pure opposite, because that's when her career slowly started to decline. Because from there, she started getting into a lot of beefs with such the likes of Azalea Banks, who's known to be quite of a huge heat magnet in the music industry, to Nicki Minaj, who shaded her, and a bunch of other female rappers for not writing their own music, which is very hypocritical if you ask me, because Nicki herself has been suspected of having a ghostwriter. Even legendary R&B singer Erykah Badu, who savagely dissed her at the 2015 Soul Train Awards.
Hang on one second, I'm sorry, y'all. Yes. Who is this? Iggy Azalea. Yeah, hey. Oh, no. You can come, because what you're doing is definitely not rap. Yeah.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie, that shit had me rolling, seriously. I love Erykah Badu, she funny as hell. To even beefing with hip-hop legends such as the likes of Snoop Dogg and Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest. And after T.I. was fed up with their reckless antics, it caused the two to have a major falling out, as he would reveal this on an interview on Hot 97 in September 2015.
Oh, Iggy Azalea, you're still involved with that?
Sure.
That seems like it slowed down some.
Well, yeah.
She's getting her.
It took a bit of a rest stop.
Have you guys talked?
Personally, no.
Yeah.
Nah.
She took some missteps that you tried to coach her on that she didn't listen to.
I did. I mean, yes.
You covered for her many times on this show.
Hey, man, I ain't gonna make no excuses. I mean, but look, though, the thing is, in her defense, she had a lot thrown at her at one time.
Very fast.
Any human being anywhere gonna have a hard time adjusting.
Was there a specific conversation that you had with her that made you be like, you know what, I'm just gonna walk away and just leave the whole thing alone?
Yeah, after the Q-tip thing. After the Q-tip thing, you know what I'm saying? After I kind of had smoothed it over, it was like, okay, well, what is really meant to be said here is, and then, you know, after it was cool, you know what I mean? Everything was cool, and then they kind of came back and undid what I had just...
You just got tired of cleaning it up.
It ain't really like I got tired of cleaning. Hey, man, I'm gonna be all the way real. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a loyal partner. You know what I mean? And if I rock with you, I'm gonna rock with you. If we right, wrong, we'll discuss that in the car. We're gonna get out of here right now, though. You know what I'm saying? Yep. You know, that's just how I am. So right now, I'm gonna block the bullets. Okay? Now, go. You know what I mean? Now, when I say go. You know what I'm saying? Just go. Don't stand around and talk while I'm blocking bullets. You slowing me down. You know what I'm saying?
During this time, Iggy then received a lot of backlash because they discovered an old song she did on her Ignorant Art mixtape called Drugs, which was a remix over Kendrick Lamar's Look Out for Detox, which included this infamous line.
When it really starts, I'm a runaway slave. Master.
Well, Iggy has apologized numerous times about this, saying that it was a very tacky and careless thing to say. However, nobody was buying it because from there, they started digging up some old tweets from her that were very racist and homophobic. Now, when you're young, you know, you don't do a lot of things that are very smart. But, you know, sometimes you gotta be careful what you post online because people will hang that over your head, especially when you're a celebrity. And while she has owned up to it and admitted she was wrong for doing that, which I will give her that, but, you know, when it comes to racism, that's never okay. And that's something I sure as hell never take lightly. So the backlash for that was very understandable. And that's something I won't excuse at all. With all the hate she was receiving at the time, her then boyfriend, NBA basketball star Nick Young, was the only person she could turn to when times got rough. The couple got engaged in June 2015, but ultimately broke up a year later after Iggy discovered that he was cheating on her with a bunch of other women. And at this point, it just seemed like Iggy just couldn't catch a break at all. After taking a brief hiatus, Iggy then geared up to drop her second studio album, Digital Distortion, releasing 2 singles from the album, Team, which ended up flopping badly, and Mo Bounce, which was a huge flop as well. As a result, the whole album would be scrapped, and Iggy would then be released from Def Jam Records. From the massive hate that Iggy was getting to her music career slowly declining, pretty much led her to being suicidal, as she explained this on an interview back in 2016.
I don't know, there were times when I just wanted to quit life, the whole thing, really.
You wanted to give up your career?
My whole life.
Were you feeling suicidal?
Kinda, sometimes I did. Sometimes I would drive through the canyons to get to my horses and I'd be like, what if I just kept driving off the canyon? Sometimes I would feel like that, and then...
The comments were that bad? They got to you that bad?
It wasn't the comments, it was that... People made it seem, and it's like people in the industry that I work with too, like, oh, this is it for your career now, so what are you gonna do? And, you know, like, I live in this country on a work visa, so if I don't have a job, that means that I go home and my whole life is here. So that's, like, a lot for somebody to deal with. I've spent a decade living in America, and for somebody to come when I didn't really feel like I did anything to be deserving of that much hate, to be like, okay, now we're taking everything from you, what you do, your friends, everything could be totally gone. That's a lot, and it can make a person feel like, well, what do I have left to live for? And I also had a lot of stuff going on in court that I can't even legally talk about, that was like personal stuff that was going on that also is really emotionally draining already, and then to have that stuff going on in your personal life, and then your career is like in shambles essentially too, and that's up in the air of what's going on with that. It's a lot. But I would always just think, you know, if I can just make it down to my horses and just go ride my horses and see how I feel after that. And I always felt better after I did that, and just take it day by day.
Those horses saved your life, man.
Keep those horses. Like that a lot of the time, yeah.
Damn, that is just so heartbreaking to hear. Now look, say what you want about Iggy Azalea, and while I did agree with some to most of the criticism she received, but to the point of her being suicidal, that's a little too much. Nobody should feel that way, because everybody should know that when it comes to suicide, it's never a joke. But anyways, let's just move on to the next chapter.
Been around the world, nah, yeah. I Can't find my baby, things getting crazy. Losing my pay.
After years of dealing with personal struggles and career setbacks, things started going very well for Iggy by 2018, especially when it came to dropping tracks from Savior and the club-banging hit Cream featuring Tyga. And I gotta say, the song did pretty well. It charted at 96 on the Billboard Hot 100, it even going gold as well. While both songs did okay, her EP Survived the Summer flopped when it only charted at 144 on the US Billboard 200. But by 2019, things just started getting better for Iggy, especially when it came to the release of the first single of her upcoming album, Sally Walker. And while I'm not a huge fan of the song at all, critics seem to love it. It charted at number 62 on the Billboard Hot 100 and has achieved gold status as well. She would then follow that up with the second single, Started, which trended at number 1 on YouTube. So with all this, it seems that Iggy has really regained her confidence back and seems to be at a very happy place right now. Now, before I end this video, I just gotta say this. If her comeback succeeds, I say great for her. If it doesn't, well, at least she tried. But anyways, I just wish her nothing but the best. So what do y'all think? Do you think Iggy Azalea's comeback will succeed? If not, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure y'all give this big thumbs up or thumbs down if you like it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for weekly videos. I'm your boy Micah J, and peace.